Hi. Sob story. So I arrived at my train station on time, but there was this remark on the board and it says my train is suppressed by strike. So I guess people aren't working. So I went to the info desk. I got a refund for my ticket and I had to buy a new ticket for an available train. And that's like €8 more expensive than my original ticket. And now I have nothing to do until like 10:20. It's only like 9 now, I think. Yeah, it's only 9:10 now, so I'm gonna just find something to do now. The bar will be K1 Club this week first. And I'm the only one here. I ordered rosé tteokbokki, so let's see how it tastes. It's so good. Oh my gosh, the sauce is amazing. By the way, I swear the staff here think I'm Korean because they have been talking to me in Korean and they are not Spanish people talking to me in Korean. They converse to each other in Spanish, so I'm sure Korean is not like their first language. So the fact that they are using Korean to speak to me, I think they just think I'm Korean because even when ordering, like she was asking me stuff in Korean and I'm just like, okay, I could understand a little, so I'm just gonna play it up all the way.
안녕, 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 안녕하세요. While the day started off gloomy, I had made plans to visit the Seville Cathedral, which was a completely indoor activity. This is the La Giralda, also known as the Bell Tower. It was originally constructed as the minaret for the mosque that previously stood here, but was replaced with a bell tower and observatory after an earthquake. This is the third largest cathedral in the world after St. Paul's Cathedral in London and St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Inside the cathedral, there were multiple sections cordoned off by these huge fancy gates. This is the Retablo Mayor, the largest altarpiece in the world. It is an intricately carved wooden structure covered with copious amounts of gold and contains carvings of bibliological figures and narratives of the life of Jesus Christ. We have now reached my favorite room in this cathedral. I loved it so much I came back again before leaving. I do not know what it's called nor what it's for, but I simply love the way the room seemed to bask so elegantly in the sunlight. I thought the uniformity in color and material complemented the details of the intricate carvings so well. I particularly loved this mirror so much as it allows you to view the room in closer detail without straining your neck, and it also makes for a really nice picture moment. But go before the crowd gets there, because any later and you'll see people vying for the same spot. One unique feature of this bell tower I had not came across before is that instead of stairs, the access is via a series of ramps. There were number plates marking each ramp ascended, but I had no idea when it would end, so it did get slightly annoying after a while. But what really helped was the sunlight streaming in at each turn and the various scenes that peeked through the iron frames.
I don't know how high this is.
The views were absolutely crazy. On one side I was overseeing what seemed like the whole of Seville, and on the other I was getting a bird's eye view of plazas and courtyards. The journey down was a lot easier, allowing me to better admire the view, and at every turn you get sunlight splashing in these windows, which just gives you that boost of dopamine. Why there are orange tree courtyards everywhere. Like, fine, you can have a courtyard.
I really don't get it. Like, it's all orange tree courtyards. Why not like apple tree courtyard or like banana tree courtyard? Why is it a damn and with Spanish and orange trees?
Tickets to the Seville Cathedral also gave me free entrance to the Church of the Divine Saviour, situated just a minute away. Must have been lucky because I went just as the sun shone through the stained glass to give me this array of beautiful colours. While nowhere as large as the Seville Cathedral, it had a magnificence of its own through the high altarpiece and the ceiling paintings. lunch I visited the Royal Alcazar of Seville. I know I have already visited many other castles in other cities, but each one truly is different from the other. This one was a little more special because it felt more like a really grand house rather than a museum. While I personally prefer not doing tours, there were very little signages in this place, which makes me wonder about some parts of the Alcazar which I may have missed out. I only saw a few of these exhibited collections, so there possibly might be more around the place. Anyways, on to the main attraction of this Alcazar, which is the palace itself. The architecture of this palace is a unique blend of Gothic, Renaissance, Romanesque, and Mudéjar style. I believe the craftsmen who had worked on the Alhambra Palace in Granada worked on this Alcazar as well, and thus you may see some similarity in workmanship between the two. As usual, we have got the gardens, official star of the show. The gardens were absolutely beautiful. In fact, this might be one of my favorite among the multiple gardens I've visited. The ducks and peacocks we spotted here seemed really carefree and happy, and they don't seem scared of humans and were really just living their best lives. Unlike the birds we see in Singapore that are just 24/7 trying to find food. In bird world, Singapore must be like their third world country in comparison to places like this.
I just entered this maze garden. Not sure if I should go that far in. I'm afraid I can't get out. And my free coffee from the hotel. There it is. Ew, I'm so black. Yay! It's day 10 of my trip, and my first itinerary of the day is to the Ciutat de Sevilla. It is the furthest attraction from my hotel, and the walk there took 20 to 30 minutes. Did pass by a few interesting buildings and cute shops on the way, so I guess it's not that bad. The Ciutat de Sevilla, also known as the Metropolitan Parasol, was designed by a German architect who won a competition to revitalize the square. Beneath the pavilion and situated below the street level is an archaeological museum, showcasing Roman ruins that were found during construction for the parking lot that was originally planned there. I am at, I have no idea what it's called, Seville Pavilion. It's called Ciutat de Sevilla in Spanish. I don't know what status is, it might be pavilion, but yeah, I think it's the world's largest wooden structure. So pretty, but I can't take a nice photo because it's so huge and there are like all these houses, like buildings surrounding it. So yeah, can't get a right angle. Without the fisheye lens, it's so near you can't see much.
While I did not visit the museum, I did get tickets to the skywalk. Obviously, the view was amazing, but as an architecture graduate, I was more intrigued by how it feels like I'm standing on top of a 1:1 scale model of a year 1 project. There's a bit of that proud feeling when you present the work during quiz and when the prof starts throwing these questions at you and you show them this, a successful building. The joints and structure look insane though, like I don't think I can ever achieve this level of detail. The next place I'm going to is now declared my favourite place in the world. I had been there yesterday, but honestly was so taken away by its beauty I had failed to take much photos of it, and so I came back again. The Plaza de Espana was designed for the Ibero-American Exposition of 1929 which Seville hosted, with the goal to make symbolic peace with its former American colonies. Personally, what I loved about it is the way it seems to gather people to this square through various modes of transportation. While this is now a tourist activity, I would imagine people coming in on boat via the river, horses drawing carriages in, as well as guests streaming in via foot in fancy gowns. In that moment, seeing people, animal and water all in one scene just felt kinda nostalgic and made the world feel very united in some sense. There were these bridges to cross the canal as well, and something about the bridges just makes it all very romantic. The ceramic balustrades were so beautiful and it made me fall in love with the Art Deco style so much. Along the walls were also 48 alcoves with ceramic benches running across the entire semicircle of the plaza, with each alcove representing each province of Spain. This whole plaza was just super pretty and thoughtful, and overall the colours, visuals and vibes were just gorgeous. I know I'm probably not making much sense, but you guys just have to visit for yourself. TLDR, this place just feels so magical. By my last day, I had already visited all the key attractions in Seville, so I decided to visit this house museum, the Palace of the Countess of Lebrija. The Countess was an avid collector and traveller, and her love for archaeology had amassed an entire collection of antiques, Roman treasures, and mosaics. Even some of the arches and tiles were retrieved from palaces and ruins to be used in her house.
Yes, it looks so good. Woohoo! It looks so good. It looks so huge. I'm really bad at eating things while looking glam. I don't get how people do it. How do you eat and look good? I'm just hanging my phone on like my iPad, so I'm actually watching Running Man right now. Yeah, real good. And now I'm gonna try the cake. Oh my god, my stomach just rumbled. Strange. This cake was a meringue cake. It's really good actually. Like the layer, like I had another one the other day. It's something like Turon. Turon is like a, I don't know, a bit like a nougat thing. It's so good. But basically they layer different things. So the one I had previously was like, I don't know what it's because you know when you eat like apple strudel and then there's that bread piece, that piece, and then that piece is the like the bread part, and then they layer it with like, well here is meringue. The one I had the other day was Turon, but it's so good. Oh my god, sweet, but I like sweet stuff, so